Probably every business owner can tell a story of a nightmare client. In fact, you might even have one on your rolls right now. So, how do you fire a bad client? Hey everyone, welcome back. Mike Sutton here with BeBuildHave.com. I work with first generation business leaders who are getting burnt out on all the doing and are ready to just start being happy and successful in their businesses. And a lot of you may be in a situation where you've got a client on your roster that is just draining the life out of you. And you'd say, I would never work with this person again. I don't care how much money they're paying me, but you don't know how to get rid of them. Or you're in a situation where you need that revenue and you're just not sure that you're comfortable letting go of it yet. And I totally understand both of those positions. And the thing that comes to mind for me is a couple years ago, five or 6 years ago, I had an experience where I put a huge amount of time into pursuing a client that I knew wasn't a good fit. They kept giving me signals over and over again that they were only shopping on price, and I had put a huge amount of time into it. And I was talking to one of my fellow business owners, and he said, I always look at these situations like tests. You're being tested by the universe, and you're teaching the universe what opportunities you want and how you're going to handle them. And if you sink a bunch of time into this, then you're not going to get better opportunities. And that's how I look at these clients who really need to go. If you're putting all your time and effort into serving a client who's not a good fit for you, you don't have any time or effort to put into finding the clients that are going to be a good fit for you. Now, I do also want to make a distinction that there's a difference between a bad client and an untrained client. A client who you have allowed to call you 24/7 to make everything an emergency, to not expect to have to pay for anything because you never sent out any invoices, that's not a bad client. That's your fault. And so I'll talk a little bit about how to address that. But if you've got a client who's just not a fit, either they mistreat you or your team, there's a mismatch in expectations, what they're willing to pay for, what they value, or there's a cultural mismatch and you're just not a good fit for working with them. All these are good reasons why you might want to let one of these clients go. And so if you find yourself in that situation, how do you do that? It's a tough conversation. Nobody wants to have that conversation. But again, like in the video that I talked about how to raise your prices, it's important to be willing to have that uncomfortable situation. And the things that you can do to make it easier on yourself are to one, do it by phone or face to face. It's not something that you want to handle by email. Yeah, it feels less scary maybe by email, but it really is something you should do face to face. You'll feel happy that you handled it that way once everything comes out. And just hold in mind that you want to be professional and polite. There's no need to be rude. You're not mad at them. You're not trying to piss them off. You just need to address the situation in your business, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you focus on their needs, that you maybe just aren't the best person to serve them anymore. They're not happy with the service you're providing. You're not able to give them what they need. And there's nothing wrong with that. Here are a couple providers that they might be happier with, and you can refer that business out to your competition, which is kind of a win-win, right? Because you're giving your competition a client that's going to drain their resources instead of having it drain your resources, and they don't know better yet. And I would say be prepared. Make sure that there are no open accounts. Make sure that there's no unfinished work to be done. You've collected your money. You're not waiting on a fat check that they're going to hold over your head. Make sure your contract allows you to let them go. And you don't want to leave anybody in a bind. You're not trying to do this to be vengeful. So make sure you're not really like sticking them in a bad situation as much as possible. If it can't be avoided, it can't be avoided. And to the extent that you can offer alternatives, and that's going to help with the transition, give them a few options of people that they can look for. But ultimately, you really just want to be clear, direct, and firm that here's the situation. This is what's going to happen. And if you can provide them a timeline that they need to have a new provider within a certain number of months or by the time their contract expires or whenever, that's going to be very helpful. And if you can offer a transition plan, that's going to help too, to let them know what you're going to do to help them move, to help them find a new provider, and what your role is going to be in that transition, what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. Again, the more you can be clear about those things, the more smoothly that transition is going to go. When it comes to your untrained clients, And again, go back and look at the video on how to raise your prices. But you really just want to make sure that your behavior, how you treat your clients and how you allow them to treat you, is congruent and consistent with your goals, objectives, and core values. If you're just mad because you're not getting paid enough, so you send out a price increase, but then don't follow through on invoicing and are inconsistent with service, then your clients are just going to be confused because they don't know what to expect from you. So if that's the case, then work on yourself so you can get to that state where you know how you need to treat people. And then you can enforce that with your clients, employees, prospects, and your business will flow a lot more easily, feel a lot more confident as you go through that. So I hope you enjoyed the message today. I have found that keeping a positive mindset around these opportunities, letting go of the fear, recognizing that, looking for creative solutions and recognizing how to embrace my confidence in these situations is very helpful. And that's why I put together my 20-minute guided meditation, which you might enjoy if this is the kind of thing that you're working on. You want to develop the mindset to be a better leader, be more effective, be more creative in your business, and be a better problem solver. Then check out that guided meditation. You can download it straight to your PC or phone, use it anytime, anywhere. You can get access to that at bebuildhave.com/meditate. And if you enjoyed the episode, please consider sharing on Facebook or Twitter. Until we speak again, be the person, build the business, and have the successful life that you want.